John Spillane, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thanks, very good. Thanks, Johnny B. Very good. I'm on the road. I'm in Clare this morning.
Yeah.
I'm from Passage West, like a shot, like a bat out of hell, up the highway. And I'm travelling on then after this down to Youghal.
Oh, lovely.
County Cork. Nice. I'm looking forward to the drive because you go through the Nire Valley, I think.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
You have to watch the sheep. They're lethal, aren't they?
And will we have the rhododendrons? We won't, I suppose. Are they finished?
They had the rhododendron walk a few weeks ago now.
Or maybe they're still in.
I say they're
in
still
bloom.
knocking around.
We'll get the odd one.
Yeah.
Down into, I suppose, down into places like Capaquin.
Yeah, nice part of the world. Lismore, all that.
Aglish, Lismore, and down into Youghal. I have a song commission cooking down in Youghal, lads, for write a song about a ship.
So, this is something people can commission you to write a song.
Well, I'm open for business again at the moment. The Hit Factory, I flung the gates open for the COVID lads, but they've been closed now for the last 6 months. But I'm accepting
reopening.
I'm going to do this ship now for Youghal. She's called the Kathleen and B, and they're trying to bring her back from Bristol, a wooden 3-masted, proper wooden old sailing ship. So there's a big campaign down in Youghal. So I'm going down anyway to,
get the info.
So, what kind of people or what kind of things have commissioned you to write a song? Like, what are the more unusual ones?
Well, the best crack was the Lough Swim.
Right.
It's a swimming song. Because the Lough Swim is an open water swimming race that happens in Cork City for over 100 years now.
Yeah.
But was cancelled for 2 years because of the COVID.
Yes.
So instead of having the song, they got me to write a song about the swim. Instead of having the swim.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a bit early in the morning for me. Instead of having the swim, they got me to write a song about the swim. So who are you going to call? Ghostbusters or the Hit Factory? And they had no swim for 2 years, so they got the song. Would you like to hear a bit of the song?
Yes, lovely.
Is that Stephen's Day or something? Or when is the Lough Swim? Is it?
It's the 7th of July last year.
The exact opposite of. Sorry, yeah.
I think it was the 1st of July this year.
Okay.
I missed it this year, but would you like a little bit of the Lough Swim?
Yes, lovely, John.
Welcome to the Hit Factory, Johnny B.
The doors are bursting open.
The Lough, the beautiful Lough. She come from Gougon and she go to the sea. The Lough, the beautiful Lough. She come from Gougon and she go to the sea. Oh, north side, south side, we all dives in. We all comes together for the great Lough Swim. The Lough Swim, vibes and scribes. The Lough Swim, the Lough Swim. Don't forget your bed and don't be in the nude and north side, south side, east and west. The Lough is the river that we all love best. North side, south side, we all dives in. We all comes together for the great Lough Swim. Vibes and Scribes, the Lough Swim. I should mention that the Lough Swim is sponsored by Vibes and Scribes.
I was
excellent
wondering.
shop that sells arts and crafts, new and second-hand books on the quays of Cork. Now I'm going to divide you in two.
I was wondering
Johnny B,
why that
you have to
lyric
go.
was jammed in there.
You have to go Vibes and Scribes, and you have to go the Lough Swim. Johnny Smacks.
Yeah.
We all comes together for the great Lough Swim.
Vibes and Scribes,
the
Lough Swim.
It's the 7th of July, it's the day of the swim. We goes to the Clarion, we all signs in. Marco, Marion, Mossy and Finn. We goes to the Clarion, we all signs in. The Lough Swim.
Vibes and Scribes.
The Lough Swim. The Lough Swim. Don't forget your bed and don't be in the nude and north side, south side, east and west. The Lough is the river that you can sing along for that bit of it. The Lough is the river that we all love best. North side, south side, we all dives in. We all comes together for the great Lough Swim.
Vibes and Scribes.
The Lough Swim.
Our names are down, we heads uptown. Old friends we sees as we wanders up the quays. Met route, wetsuit, we're just non-wetsuited. We're the men and the women for the open water swimming. When the banger goes bash, 'tis in we splash. The Lough Swim.
Vibes and Scribes.
The Lough Swim.
The Lough
You're on
Swim.
fire, lads. Don't forget your bed and don't be in the nude and north side, south side, east and west. The Lough Lee is the river that we all love best. Oh, north side, south side, we all dives in. We all comes together for the great Lee swim.
Vibes and scribes.
The Lee swim.
Woo.
Do you want? Will I do the? Will I keep? Will I
That's
do
great.
the bridges?
That's great.
Is that enough? No.
We've got more songs. That's brilliant, John. That's brilliant.
You want to hear the next bit?
Go on, John.
You can cut it out of the podcast.
Oh
after if
no,
you
we'll
want.
take it. We'll take it.
These are the bridges of Cork, lads. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Under St. Vincent's Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Under the Northgate Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Under Shandon Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Under Christy Ring Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Under St. Patrick's Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Mary Ellam's Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Brian Baru Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Michael Collins Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Then you have to turn right at the fork for the port of Cork under Eamon De Valera Bridge, swimming along, swimming along. Then I hit cloud 9 on the finishing line. I couldn't be gladder as I clamber up the ladder. Lots of laughter at the party after. Back to the Clarion, here comes Marion. Mossy and Finn, we're all in the Lee swim.
Vibes and scribes.
The Lee swim, the Lee
Lee swim.
swim. Don't forget your bathing, don't be in the nude and north side, south side, east and west. The Lee is the river that we all love best. North side, south side, we all dives in. We all comes together for the great Lee swim.
Vibes and scribes.
The Lee swim.
Thanks, lads.
That's excellent.
Your songs, you can go serious and you can be savage crack them when you want as well.
Well, that's good fun now.
That's a fun one, yeah.
Well, what I'm finding now is that at the gigs, that's the hit of the night. No, at the gig.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah.
It makes everyone happy.
Yeah.
And I sang it at the Swim last year. The Swim was back on last year.
Yeah.
After being off for 2 years, and 500 of them crawled out of the river Lee high as a kite, and I sang the song, and they were hey! It was just fab, like.
You sing about Cork a lot.
Yeah, but I have branched out. I sang about Cork. I did 25 songs about Cork first, like, just to get me going.
Right.
And then I've reached out now, like, so when I got over the county bounds, then I have 2 Tipperary songs, like.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
One about Feathert.
One about Feathert and one about Clonmel.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
there might be one about Care yet.
bring on the bobs, lads. No bother. Welcome to the Hit Factory. Yeah.
So 25 songs about Cork. I'm trying to think of. I know a few, but like, do you keep finding more things to write about Cork?
Well, I could, like. I'm tipping away, but I'm doing a big project at the moment. I'm doing a Gaelic trad opera about the Lough in Cork. I don't know if you know the Lough. The Lough is a lake. It's 1 mile around on the south side of the city.
Okay.
In Ballyfihan. The area is called the Lough, but it's a beautiful bird reserve. There's a big island full of sally trees in the middle of it, full of swans and ducks.
Well,
and
Ballyfihan
geese.
would be Musgrave Park, kind of.
Yeah,
Okay,
so the
yeah,
Lough
yeah.
is not far from. The next time you're playing to 15,000 people in Musgrave Park, lads, take a trip down around the Lough.
Yeah.
And
So you're doing a trad opera.
yeah, like there's a legend about the Lough. You know, it's a lovely fairy tale story about there was a well there that overflowed, like, and there was a king, and so that's.
So is it going to be Oscarga or?
Oscarga. Well, it's in English and Irish, but mostly in Irish. Like there's English on the banks, but when you go down into the ancient world, then it's all in Irish.
Yeah.
So I have a load of brilliant trad singers doing it.
Okay, fair play.
And I flew my queen in from Manchester there 2 weeks ago, Rena Connolly from Armagh, and she's singing Armagh Irish, like, but no bother.
Yeah.
My princess is from Sligo. She's called Niamh Farrell, a beautiful traditional singer. And I'm bringing the king down now from Dublin shortly. So
What mode of transport is the king using to get down?
a kind of a golden winged chariot. He'll come through the sky and he'll land down. He'll land down at the Lough. So that kind of stuff, like.
That's incredible.
We were listening to some of your songs before you came in, the Cork stuff. The Dunstores Girl, like that was one of the first ones that kind of took off you, was it?
Yeah.
It's on your first album.
Yeah.
And where did that come out of?
Well, a girl who worked in Duns, like.
Yeah.
Claire Cogan from Turner's Cross. But I have to say that there was nothing going on.
Right.
Well, are
Okay.
you
right.
sure?
Yeah.
Not romantically.
There was nothing going on.
Yeah.
It was written as a kind of a dare, you know, a challenge, really. In that I went into Dunn's. I knew the girl, and she said, "Oh, you're John Spillane. I love your stuff. I saw you there, at your gig. Love your songs."
Yeah.
And then she was writing into when websites were new. Actually, there was a thread line. A thread it was called.
They're back now. Treads are back now. Yeah.
And she was writing into the website anyway, and she was saying love your songs. And then her brother was writing, and he was called the Baldy Man, the Dunstores Girl and the Baldy Man. And then
did he work in Dunn's? No,
he didn't work in Dunn's. No, but he was a skinhead. But anyway, he's in the song as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is, I don't know how it came about. No, but
so you went into Dunn's when even talking to her? Or?
I went into talking to her, and then. I said, "You've got great names, lads, the Dunstores Girl and the Baldy Man."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, if you're such a shit-hot songwriter, John Spillane, why don't you write a song about us?" So, something like that. And I said, "I will." And that was the Dunstores Girl. But as I say, there was nothing going on.
Right, okay.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. So, it's not really a genuine love song.
Oh, okay.
In that way, it's not one of my best numbers, really. It's a bit of a joke.
And you seem like you're quite into and aware of folklore and history and...
Yeah, I'm actually a Gaeilgeoir nerd. I had a radio show on Radio na Gaeltachta. No, not TG Car, Radio na fucking Gaeltachta.
Yeah, the hardcore.
That's Gaeilge, that's Gaeling.
Yeah. Did you grow up in a Irish-speaking house, or where did you get the Gaeilge?
No, I grew up in Cork City, but I got into it, and I'm into trad music and all that. So... But I do like the folklore, and I was up in Clare last, and I'm doing something now at the moment about the Hag of Beara. Well, I'm going to be doing something when I finish my opera. Yeah. I'm going to be doing the Hag of Beara. Do you know the Hag?
No, the Beara Peninsula.
The Beara Peninsula is named after this woman called Cailleach Beara. She's the Hag of Winter.
Okay.
Like when the hills go all white in the winter.
Yeah.
That's actually her cloak spread over the hills,
Okay, this is the old folklore.
Yeah, she's the Hag of Winter. Now, she's in various places, but she's mostly in West Cork, the Beara Peninsula is named after her.
Okay.
But there's the Hag of Beara Lake in Armagh, on the banks of Slieve Gullion. That's where Fionn McCool's hair went grey.
Oh, yes.
But I was up in Clare, and anyway, a fella said there's a place here near Clare called the Khyber Pass.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
But they said that the old people didn't call it the Khyber Pass, they call it the Coil Bear Pass.
I didn't know that.
It's the flecking hag. She's up here in Clare as well. So she's everywhere.
What does Coil Bear mean?
Well, Cailleach Beara was her name.
Okay.
The Hag of Beara. She's in Scotland as well.
Yeah, she's all over.
She gets around.
But she's in Tipperary anyway, no? We have her located. So,
because I would have grown up knowing the Khyber, as we'd call that road, out to the Tip Road roundabout and go right and right again, the Khyber.
Yeah, but they were saying an unusual place name, the Khyber Pass.
Because there was war out in the Khyber, is that in India or somewhere, isn't it?
Somewhere in India, isn't it?
Yeah. So there would have been probably soldiers from around here, lads from around here probably pulled into the British Army, might have been fighting out in the Khyber. It's the story I heard.
That's what was taught.
Yeah.
But I met the local historian after my gig in Clare Castle there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he said that's what everybody said. Why was a place in Tipperary called the Khyber Pass? Because of the soldiers, maybe the Munster Fusiliers or something.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of that in Cork as well. But he said no, that it was Coil Bear, the old generation before that.
Yeah.
And why was it called, how did Coil Bear turn into Khyber?
Yeah.
And he said it's the hag. No, I'm not making it up now.
Yeah, no,
It's a local Clare. His name was Liam. I don't know what his second name was. Well, we could track him down.
No. I was at
small town. We'll get.
Yeah. But you gig like that. That gig was in Clare Castle.
It was a lovely night, yeah.
You've probably done gigs in all kinds of places now. What would be the most unusual venues you've ever had for a gig or gigs you've done?
Oh right, I should have my answers ready for this.
No.
Well, I have played in. I played in Victoria Falls in Africa. It's a big waterfall called Victoria Falls.
Is that near Kenya or where is it?
It's between
somewhere down there.
I should know my country.
Geography.
I was there.
You're looking at me. I dropped out with geography, John. I've got no hope.
It's on the banks of. I think you have. I can't. The names are escaping me now, lads.
Or is that South Africa?
No, I was in the middle of Africa there. It's that big river that comes down through the Africa full of hippopotamuses, and there's a constant rainbow over the Victoria Falls.
Wow.
It's
how do you end up doing a gig in Victoria Falls?
Paddy's Day, man. You go everywhere. But I did do another gig in an interesting place, which was in Kensington Roof Gardens in London. And
lovely.
Kensington Roof Gardens, there's a skyscraper about like 16 stories high, say, and at the top of it, there's a garden full of flamingos and ducks swimming around in the pond.
Oh my God.
Kensington Roof Gardens, yeah.
Was that another Paddy's Day gig?
No, that was for the rich. Sometimes I play for the rich. You know who was at that gig now was Roger Moore.
Oh yeah,
Was
he was
he?
James Bond.
He was James Bond, yeah. He was a cool dude, like.
Was he be talking to him?
He was hanging around, like.
Yeah.
He was having shaken, not stirred.
Yeah, the old martini.
Victoria Falls, Zambia.
Zambia, yeah. Zambia on one side of it, and I suppose Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe on the other side. Yeah, well done, yeah.
Zambia. I couldn't think of the word Zambia, you know.
Come here, did we were digging into your past and talking about playing in unusual places. Did you teach music in Cork prison for a while?
I did.
What was that like?
Grim.
Was it?
It was, yeah. I mean, I did Cork prison. I did Spike Island for about, I say it's the most of 10 years, really. I'd say,
Wow.
on and off, you know.
Were you a music teacher?
Not qualified, but I'm a good musician.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't have any teaching qualifications, but I did teach music, in Cork prison. And actually, like, it was, you could turn a lot of fellas on. Like, you could teach somebody guitar, and it would really help them get through their time.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of a thing that when you get the bug for it,
Yeah.
you could do it for all day.
Well, pass a lot of time.
You'd pass a lot of time, and some fellas can really develop like with that time. So Cork prison was fairly grim. They knocked it down and they built a new one out since I was there. Like,
Yeah.
and I worked in Spike Island then, which was actually more hopeful. There was 100 prisoners there. They were mostly younger,
Yeah.
and it was less grim in a way because I suppose because they were younger, there was a bit more hope for them that they would get out of the cycle.
Yeah. And what was it like trying to work with lads? I mean, were fellas receptive? Like, did you get a lot of guff or?
No. I mean, like the thing is that if you go to jail, there's a few things going on. One thing is that you're being punished.
Yeah.
One thing is that you're protecting the rest of the population from you, and another thing is that you're being rehabilitated.
Yeah.
So you have certain rights, like, and one of the rights is to get an education. So
Yes.
fellas in jail who go to school, there's voluntary for them to go to school. They want to go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So quite a lot of fellas do degrees and all that kind of stuff, you know. But then I worked in another crowd called Feroiga, and that was locating people who were going to go to jail.
Right.
Because if you wanted to solve the crime problem, it's not really by putting fellas in jail. You can locate who's going to go to jail when they're 10 years old by their address and their family history. Because it's not like it never happened before. It's not evil. It's not like these people are bad.
Yeah.
It's not like all the people in Dublin 4 are very good people who would never harm anyone.
Yeah,
And all the people,
we know that.
And all the people on the north side would rob you.
Yeah,
You know, they're the same babies, like.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all. What I'm saying is that. So I worked with a crowd called Feroiga in Cork, and we went into Mahon at the time, which was a big unemployment black spot, and we could say who are the young fellas who are going to go to jail.
Statistically.
Yeah.
And then you could work with them, and you could say, listen, don't bother going to jail. You know,
Jail isn't great, lads.
yeah, you know what I mean. Don't go that road, like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean. Learn rock and roll, or fellas who fall through who drop out of school, basically.
Yeah.
So you got your first record deal at what, age 40?
Oh,
I
well,
read that somewhere. Is that
yeah,
wrong?
yeah. Well, I was trucking away. Like I always say about the whole entertainment business, lads.
Yeah.
Like, and I hope you'll bear this in mind now. Like, you know, take this on board. The first 35 years is definitely the hardest.
Yeah.
Things get a lot better after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You start floating a bit with the wind, then, like, and making a few bob, like, you know.
So is there kind of a middle period where it was tough going, like?
I've always kind of done all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was your first question again?
I don't know. Just
Yeah.
I mean, because for me, say who didn't know you to knowing you,
Yeah.
it's like the classic overnight success after 20 years.
Oh yeah,
You know.
signed when I was 40. Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I played with various bands, and I played bass guitar. So I played acoustic bass and I played electric bass. So, you know, I was a bass player for hire. You know,
Yeah.
you had to have a bass player, like in those days, you know, for a ballad group,
Yeah.
for anyone, like weddings, anything at
Yeah.
all, rock and roll, heavy metal. There was, I don't know, is it so much so anymore, like, but anyway.
We'll hold on to our bass player for another while.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all there is. So I was a bass player for hire, and I played with Jimmy Crowley from Cork, who was like, you know, Cork traditional songs and ballads, a scholarly kind of a brilliant apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And then I used to worship Jimmy McCarthy, who was a brilliant songwriter in Cork, you know, when I was a young fella. And then I played in the 1980s with a band called the Stargazers, and we were a smooth 3-part harmony group. We had tuxedos and we played swing jazz and 3-part harmony. Yeah, we used to be all over the television in the 80s. The Stargazers. We were on a talent show in 1985 or something on RTE, and we were quite popular.
You've played every genre of music, I'd say, that's available to anyone out there.
Yeah, well, I used to love the jazz, and I played the bass with the Stargazers. And what you did, you just kept travelling.
Stay going.
Keep going.
Stay going, yeah.
That's what they call jazz.
You just stay going. That's the best advice.
That's and there's no such thing as a wrong note.
Yeah. Jazz could be my kind of music.
The song that turned it all around then, would it be Johnny Don't Go?
Would it be Johnny Don't Go? Well, Christy Moore, that was the first song that Christy Moore covered of my songs.
Yeah.
So that would have been a step up. But I was playing in bands, but I was writing my own songs.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be a songwriter, really. And then I played in a traditional band in the 90s called Nomos. And we were they were brilliant, trad players, and we did a lot of touring outside of Ireland.
Yeah.
In America and Germany and all that. And then I went solo in 1997 with my first album, and Johnny Don't Go was the first track on that, Johnny Don't Go to Ballincollig. Yeah. And they were only laughing at me. The lads said, "You'll never get nowhere singing songs like that, like Ballincollig, you know what I mean?" But then Christy Moore covered it.
Yeah, it's a great song.
They weren't laughing anymore then. They were laughing on the other side of their face then. Johnny Don't Go to Ballincollig and Christy doing it. And he did it on an album as well that was a big seller at the time.
Yeah.
It was called This Is the Day.
This Is the Day, yeah, I have it, yeah.
And so that was the first. I got discovered then.
Yeah.
I was 40. I got discovered at the age of 40 by EMI Records, the greatest record company in the world, the same label as my heroes, the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I got a 5-album deal with EMI.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm up to EMI House. They're gone now.
Not your fault. Not your fault.
Keep moving, But
when Christy Moore covers your song, not to be asking a personal question, would you get a few bob around?
Yeah. I mean, Christy Moore, I tell you now, even going way back further than that, Christy Moore has always been brilliant, to me and to a lot of other people. I mean, he does a lot of, he makes a lot of people happy, It's not just, the songs. For example, when I made my first demo tape, when I was in my 20s, and it was called John Spillane 8 Songs, and it was a cassette, and I gave it to all the singers in Ireland, at the time, Maura O'Connell, Freddie White, Christy Moore, whoever was, Mary Black, people who were big in the 80s, and the only reply I got was a beautiful letter from Christy Moore.
Cool.
And he said, "You're a lovely singer, keep it going. Nothing suitable for my repertoire at the moment, but I really enjoyed your tape, whatever."
Yeah.
And that meant a huge amount to me.
Classy touch.
And he was the only one of the whole lot of them, who did that. Yeah. Who replied in any way. So that's Christy. And then he was talking about doing one song for a while, and that didn't work out. And then he did Johnny Don't Go. And I got a great kick out of it, Yeah. And Bob's as well.
Yeah. Most importantly.
And you did an album, Songs We Learned in School.
Yeah, that was my biggest selling album, Irish Songs We Learned at School.
So this is a lot of songs at Squelga, songs that you genuinely would have learned in school. Yeah. That were nearly almost, not forgotten, but you wouldn't have been hearing them anymore.
Yeah, well, that album came from EMI Records, who had their eye on the ball in terms of selling vast quantities of CDs at overpriced.
The sales were huge in that,
Oh, yeah. So it was actually EMI Records, Willie Kavanagh, who was the main man in EMI behind the big desk in 1 Aylesbury Road, EMI House. I still have gone in there, lads. I was rock and roll.
Yeah, I've made it now.
And he said, you know what you should do now, John, because I did some original stuff, newly composed stuff in Irish, I am into it, and he said, what you should do now is you should do Body Oil Me, Oro Shed of Ahawalya, Trassin the Donta, Pucker Bulla, and I don't care about what else you put on it. and he said that'll sell. And I did, and I did it. I did it in about a week. I did it with kids from the Gael School in Ballincollig, actually.
Was it done in the school?
Yeah. Well, we did it in the studio, and then we brought it into the school and got them to sing along with us.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Kind of a way.
Would you give us one?
Yeah, sure. I can give you the medley if you want.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Yeah.
So we start off with Bodin oil me dim Dimmigagola, Bodin oil me, svile me on. Bodin oil me, Dimmigagola, Bodin oil me, svile me on. Bodin bidach, Bodin biosach, Bodin boyoch, Bodin oil me, Bodin dirach, Bodin diontach, Bodin oil me, svile me on. Beganach gemoirach, gegunde en chloir. Beganach gemoirach, gegunde en chloir. Beganach gemoirach, gegunde en chloir. Ken vagam ni veg me. I have all the moves as well. You can't see them. It's a wire in the liquor to con enig me. A wire in the liquor to con enig me. So wire in the liquor to con enig me. A vornin og na helige. Trasnana don't. Dol sheer, slán leis an oignas is slán leis an gear. Gal mo chrí agus gal an grian, gal veg fille go herin. Chanach mo gohin da hiera igéin. Or a gos aragod, Severus on tail. Irene on creonum le brack a gach le. Smedridum le doheg mo vui. Oro shedava awalya. Oro shedava awalya. Oro shedava awalya. Anisher hachton toreg. Shedava van bullion verbe ar grak to ve even the go evra shell of mirloch to deal to leshna hit a Johnnies. Oro shedava awalya. Oro shedava awalya. Oro shedava awalya. Anisher hachton tore. That's only a small glimpse.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
That's beautiful, John.
It'll bring you back. Yeah, I remember, like.
We'd learned a few of them.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, oh yeah, and then you hear the first line, you're like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Mrs. Marr, 5th class.
Are they still taught in schools?
Oh, yeah, well the Gael schools are big, no?
Gael schools are back, yeah, big.
I mean, the Irish language is interesting, lads, because like it was banished in the 14th century.
Yeah.
You know, it was banned. You know, it's been dying for about like 1,000 years, but it refuses to die.
Yeah.
And had another resurgence now. I mean, T.G. Carr.
Yeah.
Is 25 years now or something. And
more.
I mean, when that was Michael D. And when that was suggested, it was a huge wave against it. Against T.G. Carr, like.
Yeah.
People, oh, that'll never work, especially from the whole Dublin vibe.
Yeah.
You know, like, can't you leave the poor old dead language alone? You know what I mean? Leave her rot in the grave, like. But no, T.G. Carr came in and it's been very successful.
Yeah.
And then the whole Gael skulls.
The Gael skull thing is huge.
Very
big
popular
movement.
again.
Huge.
Big movement.
Yeah,
Big movement. So, I mean, there's a lot of kids now fluent in Irish.
Yeah.
But then there's no follow on from them. Like usually, like they lose it then when they leave the Gael skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're unbelievably fluent and they don't even know it.
I've nieces and nephews in Gael skulls. I'm amazed at. Like they're 8 years of age, able to, like.
It's brilliant.
It's cool again. There's kind of a resurgence of being able to play trad, being able to speak Irish is cool again now.
Well, so they say, yeah. But I mean, there's very few people actually speak it then.
Yeah.
There's a huge, the Irish language is a very loaded question. There's a huge amount of guilt.
Yes.
There's a huge amount of shame. People think, I can't speak my own language.
I wish I could.
The French can speak French, the Italians can, and then there's a huge hatred of it.
Do you think so?
I do. I mean, a lot of kids would always say, I hate Irish.
Yeah.
You hear that was very common. You must say,
I think what it is I think their parents, a lot of the kids' parents had such a time trying to learn it in school.
It was bet into them.
And almost bet into them and forced on them. As opposed to nowadays, I think the kids are going to the Gael schools and stuff, and it's taught in a much better way. Like even like when I look back on school when I was there, it was a bit more like it was a bit more friendlier, I think, than it was. Like my mum would go Irish West Time. Whereas I would be like, oh, it'd be class like to be really good at Irish.
So
our own language. So
you never know, like, you know. But I do see it as a part of a bigger march of history. You know what I mean? I mean, as I say, it's been stamped down since the Statutes of Kilkenny bandit in the 14th century.
Band hurling as well, yeah.
They were written in French, apparently.
Are they?
That's what they say. The statues.
Haven't read it, no.
I haven't read it myself either. So, not the statues, no, lads, the statues.
We could be here all day, but I wanted to ask quickly, you've probably seen then, as you said, the cycles of folk revival and then maybe, so it was kind of cool and going away again and coming back. Like, as you say, only after it's happened, you can really see a pattern.
Yeah.
So did you see a time when, like that, the kind of the main folk revival probably even before your time, like the Clancy Brothers and all that?
Yeah, well, I would have been a small child there when they were on the television.
Yeah.
And
then you would have had it again with like Planksty and Christy Moore and all.
Yeah, and they were kind of cool then, and they had long hair, and you know they were
bit rock and roll, like going around drinking pints. And
Planksty were brilliant, like, and the Dubliners, like everybody loves the Dubliners. So
kind of went away again, maybe in the boom.
Yeah, I think things come and go. You know,
totally lost the run of ourselves in the boom.
Yeah. Coming back again, John?
Yeah, it's very strong, like.
Yeah. Not going anywhere.
Yeah, so anyway I'll keep you talking all day, lads. So I think you should have a smooth jingle as well, I was thinking.
Oh yes,
yeah, okay.
yes.
Two Johnnies, two Johnnies, two Johnnies. That kind of a thing, like, you know?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Not tried, like, two Johnnies, two peas in a podcast. Two Johnnies, two peas in a podcast. Two Johnnies, two peas in a podcast. That's the smooth one. And then we have it. There were two Johnnies hanging from... there were two Johnnies hanging from a nail. Jesus, I should have made it up before I came in. There were two Johnnies hanging from a nail. Johnny Schmacks brings the schnacks. Johnny B bring the tea. Oh, rise up, Johnny B. Go in, take the straw from your gob. Go into the studio, earn a few bob.
You know we're going to use them too.
Oh, John, quick fire before you go, right? Murphys or Beamish?
Oh, Beamish.
KCs or Hillbillies?
KCs.
Oh, yes.
Hurling or football?
Hurling.
Should Roy Keane have gone home during the 2002 World Cup in Saipan?
Jesus, lads. You're tearing the heart out of me now. He had to follow his conscience.
Yeah. That's a good Cork answer.
Favourite pub in Cork? In the city?
Oh, the Corner House.
Corner House.
We'll have to go.
We'll have to check that out.
Best pub for music.
Do you drink Tenora?
I'd like a slug of Tenora. I hadn't seen it for a while now.
Have you kissed the Blarney Stone?
3 times. Where do you think I got the gift of the gab?
In the one night.
Have you tried it?
Yeah.
I actually haven't. I'll have to go down and try it. Jimmy Barry Murphy or Ronaldo?
Oh, Jimmy Barr.
We
love Jimmy Barr.
Sonia O'Sullivan or the O'Donovan brothers?
Oh, we'll give it to Sonia.
Yeah.
I mean, we love them all. Yeah. Pull like a dog. Like, what a crack that was.
Kinsale or Clonakilty?
Oh, we'll have to give it to Clon.
Yeah, great town.
Yeah, lovely town, yeah.
And Wilton or Mahon for the favourite shopping centre?
I'm from Wilton. Wilton all the way.
You'll have to be
Wilton. Wilton.
And with that, the great John Spillane. John, keep on roving, boy. Keep on going.
Thanks very much, lads. Lovely to meet you.
John. Thank you.
Pleasure.